Alrighty, we are good to go. Hello, hello.
Hello.
So yeah, FF2 PSP version is probably the best version of FF2 in terms of not being broken, but all of them are kind of broken. I'm joined by Alex, who hasn't run this game but has watched me struggling with it enough to know how terrible it is. So I guess I'll just dive straight in and we can start rambling about the plot and the early game.
Because this game actually has plot, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
So first fight, you immediately just try to run away because it's an unwinnable fight. So you just let everyone die, and running away is the fastest way to do that. Oh no, what a shame, I lost. Quick run.
RIP.
So, for anyone who doesn't know FF2, the original version has a really stupid, like the NES version has a really stupid but really interesting leveling system, where basically the more times you attack, the better you get with the weapons you're attacking with. The better your attack power gets. The more times you use spells, the better your spell gets, and your magic goes up, but your strength will go down, stuff like that. If you take damage, your HP goes up, that kind of thing. It was a little bit broken and a little bit too easy to cheese. So they kind of fixed it in this version. There's still something similar in play, but it's not just as simple as attack lots and your attack goes up. What they didn't change was that shields are really, really broken. And basically the only way they fixed it is that they made it so that instead of just attacking, it's based around an enemy level that's hidden, so you can't just attack really weak, boring enemies, you have to kind of progress through the game to get your stats up. So anyway, our 4 characters got attacked, 3 of them turn up here, we have no idea where Leon's gone, which obviously definitely won't come up anywhere else. And straight away we'll learn one of the other really stupid things in this game. I should probably stop insulting the game. I'm doing like the typical speedrun thing of like, this game sucks. I didn't mean to ask about the Wild Rose. Whoops. Stop talking to me, Hild. Oh my god, please stop talking. I don't know this text box, so I don't know how long it is. No. Cool. So I have to dash to the armor shop because shields are good. And so the first thing I'm going to do is buy 5 shields. Now I can actually menu and have a dash by default. So we want to remove everything except shields. So the story of the game so far is that there's like... alright, I need to attack these. That miss is actually quite good for me. Oh, so there's also another thing in this game. You can't actually hit physical attacks from the back row, and you can't be hit by physical attacks in the back row. That's really, really important as part of this run. Which I'll explain more when it comes up, probably on the way back from the first town. I still want to attack here because that means that Maria's fists and shield levels will go up. So they all got unarmed and shield levels up. The only one I actually care about getting more than 1 fist level on is Guy. Because Guy is, by default, the highest physical attack. So what we're actually going to do is just equip shields on the others, but still attack, so that they can get those levels up.
So what's the main reason for getting at least 1 level on Maria and Furion?
Mostly
0.
Mostly back up on the way to and from this town. If Guy is in the front row, if he dies... then it's perfectly possible to just rely on their attacks. I also realised I forgot to put Maria in the front row. She's meant to be getting hit at this point, because her stats are good. So right now I'm just going to double check. 2-3, 2-3, 2-2. Okay. So Guy needs one more level on each, and then I can start running from fights. The leveling system is consistent, so I just need 2 hits with Guy in this fight. I'm actually just going to defend with those. And...
Is there a way to manipulate the encounter rate on different tiles, like forest, grass?
There is a step counter in this game. It's not recommended as like a beginner strat, so I don't know it yet. For the record, this is my 3rd run of this game, so prepared to see some like very botched movement and inputs occasionally. I should equip Guy, actually. Formation, put those back, equip Guy with shields. So the reason shields matter is that they increase your evasion rate. So most of the enemies are just using physical attacks, and they're mostly just going to miss at this point because everyone is level 3 shields on the way to and from the first town, which, yeah, kind of sucks.
Wait, the enemy escaped?
Oh yeah, they can do that, yeah.
Don't think I saw that on the previous run, did I?
Some of them did, I think. Yeah, I don't want to talk to any of the soldiers here. Oh yeah, we get attacked in this town. Oh my god, ambushes everywhere. Yeah, we get attacked in this town. If you talk to the soldiers, you get attacked by the same enemies that murdered you at the start of the game, so don't talk to the soldiers.
You can actually do that?
Yeah, it's not a good idea. Just mash through that one. We tell him the password, and he's like, oh, you're from the Rebel Army. The person you come to talk to is in the back of this pub. I'm gonna leave and pursue all my dreams now. The pub is yours. Straight up, he gives you a pub and walks out. You never see him again in the game. So Scott is a fighter from the Rebel Army. He's also the first death in this game. Get used to those.
Rip Scott.
Yeah, Scott's the first one down of many. Alright. And just to play safe, I'm going to grab this potion from a chest. Which I'll probably end up selling, but good to have in case things go wrong. So I actually really want Guy to die here, but it's worth noting I'm gonna get ambushed a lot in this run. I would hazard a guess that like maybe 40 or 50% of fights end up being ambushes. For some reason, the ambush rate in the PSP version of this game is just through the goddamn roof, and I have no idea why. But yeah.
Which is why you'll see a dead person in the front row for most of the game.
Right. Yeah, so actually now's probably a good time to explain that because there's not much else happening here. So I mentioned earlier that characters can't attack with physical attacks, or hit with physical attacks, or be hit by physical attacks if they're in the back row. Whenever you get ambushed, most of the enemies will try and use a physical attack. So if you have a dead character in the front row, none of the enemies can hit your back row characters, and so they just skip their turn. And so it makes every ambush just so much faster because you just immediately start the next turn.
And then just faster to just survive as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Some ambushes can be quite deadly.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't need to do that. Oh my god, please. I need to talk to you again, because I didn't learn Mithril. Ask again about Mithril. Cool, that's that done. And then we talk to Minwoo. who has a canoe, and so he goes with us. Hilda and Minwoo are very much like, you know, more FF names. Although I don't know which of Guy or Scott is the least FF typical name. Fuck. I missed the thing. After that, I then have to learn Dreadnought. Learning conversations and words at certain points matters so much. Because it's really easy to just, like, lose 5 minutes because you forgot to learn a word somewhere. Okay, so we want you in the back. And equipped with... what? Oh, right. Equipped with nothing. That makes perfect sense. And we want to remove that buckler and sell everything that isn't a buckler right now. We're just going to sell our clothes. Normal things to do.
4 people, no weapons, no clothes.
They don't need weapons, they can just punch out the wasps.
Yeah. Wasp, everything.
Oh, I'm going to maximize my canoe movement because canoe is no encounters. And we'll spend a lot of the early game running back and forth between these towns to get boat rides. And when I say boat rides...
Does pier tiles work the same as in FF1, as in no encounters?
I'm not sure. I think you don't get fights on them still.
Okay.
Okay, so... Oh, wrong way. Airship. So now we go off to Summit Falls, which I'm actually going to safety save in because this went very wrong the other day. First of a lot of saves in this run. Even the world record route has countless saves in it, and resets. I can fight this. Okay, so... God, this is a terrible fight, though. So I don't want Minwoo to do anything. And I need each of the other 3 to attack 3 times. Also, Firion and Maria might die here. Hopefully not, but it's possible. The goblins have an attack that hits the back row. Okay, that's perfect.
So now you're leveling up Guy's Fist to 5, is it?
Yes, and everyone else's shields up to 5.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else being Firion and Maria. The 4th character almost never matters in this game.
More like a meat shield.
Yeah, pretty much. Minwoo's useful. Minwoo... Oh.
Yeah, he has some spells.
This
like
is
teleport.
bad news. Okay, I'm actually gonna play safe here. I'm gonna run and heal outside of battle. No, nothing. We're also gonna open a bunch of chests for extra heal. Not that way. I did that last time as well. I just attacked with Minwoo. So the important part here is getting 3 hits with Guy. Oh god. Okay, it hit Guy. It's not too bad.
Yeah, bow can hit back row, right?
Yeah. Okay, didn't kill. Didn't kill. Oh no. Okay, good. That was a scary moment. Definitely gonna have to heal after this fight.
Yeah, does Midview has life at this point?
He does,
Just
but...
cure.
Yeah. No, he has life as well, but cure is far better because I can cure and just be done with it.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I need a lot of money coming up so I'm going to be opening most of the treasure chests. Okay, this is going to be a weird fight. So I want to actually... oh my god, I thought I'd sold the buckler then. I didn't see where it was. So I'm going to move it to the top, and I want to attack 6 times with Guy, but he's normally gonna hit them, so I have to equip the shield so that he can attack without doing damage. God, I should have protected this fight. I didn't realise how much damage these things did. That's the 5th hit, I think. I hope. I'm gonna act like it is. Okay, shield up, shield up. Oh, that's... Oh no, that's good, that's good. Okay. Also... heal outside of every fight. Okay, this should be good now. So I can defend with these 2. Buckler into the attack slot, and... this is basically the only point of grinding in the entire run. Once this is done, I am going to be fleeing from every fight I can run from. There is, however, a little bit of farming money, but it doesn't come from fights. I've absolutely lost track of how many hits
Is that
I've
the
done.
3rd?
I think that was the 4th, so I'm gonna punch it now, because I only need 5 for this one. Oh my god, please. Yeah, there we go. Unarmed shield. So at this point now, I'll re-equip the buckler and run from every fight.
Yep.
Oh, the original... yeah, the original is really grind heavy, so it's actually crazy to me that there's so little in this version. Is this the chest I want?
Yeah, I suppose the original had a lot of magic grinding, or skills grinding, I suppose.
Down. Okay, I lost track of the chest. Whoops. Yeah, the original is really silly because it's just there's a bug in the game, so you literally just that's the chest I wanted. So you literally just like attack, choose an enemy, and then cancel. And then attack, and then choose an enemy, and then cancel. Left doorway. And so you do that 100 times, and you level up. Or level up that stat. Then you come down here, open this chest, more money. Back up to the path split. I should probably revive Maria and heal at some point, but I'm playing a little greedy right now. Okay, I'll heal after this fight because those are awful, absolutely nightmarish enemies. They only use physical attacks, so it's not the worst, but if they get to hit, they do a lot of damage. Okay, and then I want the left doorway again. So we're going to talk to Paul. Again, not a very typical RPG fantasy name. Paul and Nelly. Nelly is Joseph's daughter. We have like the most normal boring names in FF2, except for like Firion.
And the towns.
And the towns, yeah. A lot of the towns are
Strange names.
Bafsk and Salamand and Kashuan. Wait, no, cross this bridge, come up here.
The Emperor does actually have a name, doesn't he?
In all the remakes, he does. In the original, he didn't. In the original, it was just Emperor Palamecia, because he's the Emperor of Palamecia. Yeah. In the remakes, they made it so that Palamecia is actually his surname, and his first name is Mateus.
Right.
Which is why in FF12, there's like a summon for each of the first 5 FF bosses. Mateus is the FF2 one. It's like Chaos, Mateus. Famfrit is the Dark... Are you kidding me? That crit? That's not meant to happen?
First boss fight of the game.
Yes. I was like, oh, this fight's free. I'll just walk in. It's fine. Yeah, that's terrible. Oh god. Okay, well, I'm glad I picked up that potion now because I can use it here. I need to unequip that buckler. I need the high potion. The potion was spare. You attack. Oh no, wait. Oh god. Okay, I'm kind of just like doing this on the fly at this point. No! That did 106! He's got 105 max! Oh, this is a disaster. Okay, well... I saved at the start of the dungeon? Oh my god, that was so long ago.
Oh.
Come on, guy, I believe.
Don't die.
No, not life. Well, maybe. Okay, Maria got hit. Maria can die, that's fine. She's not important right now.
Poor Maria.
The idea is to cast Protect on Guy, so that he can survive a hit. But...
Yeah, not when you're ambushed, I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't take damage now unless it's a crit. It's only if the first turn is a crit that it's a problem. And... You know what, I'm only 10 seconds behind my PB, I'll take it.
Poor Maria, left behind.
So, okay, now we do some weird menuing. So I'm going to equip bucklers. Oh my god, I don't have... Okay, I have just enough magic to do that and nothing else. And then we're going to teleport out. Oh, I didn't formation. Alright, well, I'll do it now. We're going to keep Minwoo in the front because using teleport actually lowers your HP to single digits. So now the plan is to have Minwoo in the front. Hello? You wanna run away? Thank you. And now you'll see the formation thing we were talking about with the dead character. So every ambush I get now should basically not get a turn. And every fight that isn't an ambush, I basically get a free turn. It's not quite like that. If they have magic or ranged attacks they can hit, but... most of them are just purely physical.
Looks like the majority of the attacks in this game is attack, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some form, so, yeah.
Oh yeah, so plot-wise, we had to come here to get Mithril so that the rebel army can craft better weapons and armor. Turns out they're really struggling against the Empire because their resources suck, and so you get taken off to help them get some Mithril. That's pretty much it. We also found out about the Dreadnought, which is a big Empire airship that has kind of been taking control of the sky so no other airships can fly around. Which is obviously, you know, a big problem when you're trying to travel between towns all the time. Okay. Oh, I need to actually talk to the sailor before I can get on the boat, don't I? So now all the way back to Altair.
Time for some shopping.
No, not this one. No, this is just to hand over the Mithril and then we leave again.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got the Mithril and they're like, oh, there's a master craftsman in Altair, you should go talk to them. And he's just like, no, I'm just a normal, boring old man. I don't know what you want with me. And then you give him Mithril, and he's like, alright, I'm going to make you all the best weapons in the world. They're not. They're actually completely mediocre, but they're still used in the run. They're still actually relevant, at least. Oh, it's faster to go around this way. So we're still at the point of backtracking all the way around the world. There's a billion places that we just have to travel to. Every single time, we'll just come up here, get the boat, go over to Poft, Balloon to Poft, and then we'll get an airship from Sid, and this time we're going to go to Bafsk. The names are something.
Yeah, given how normal all the character names are, I mean, one person being called Guy tells most, I guess.
Guy, Scott, Paul, Maria.
Yeah. Like, mostly generic names, and then you have all these obscure city names.
So that was
And so the
Organ that we just ran past. He's a boss a bit later. The first run I ever did of this game, I just did like a practice run, you know, not timed or anything, over multiple sessions. Borgen is like notoriously the worst like enemy in the game. He's a boss fight that is worse than most of the enemies in the dungeon he's in. I died to Borgen in my first run, and I nearly just dropped the game on the spot. Like, there are invisible walls. I think there's another one like up here, but no. Okay, well, I just wasted some time.
Borgen is one of those few bosses you don't meet again, do you?
Once you've beaten him, like, you fight him in the cave, and once... Oh my god, this is really bad. I'm glad I saved coming into this area. Once you've fought him in the cave, the idea is that he dies and then that's it. There's actually a treasure chest in the final dungeon that, if you open it, you get ambushed, and it's got, like, a hidden item in it at the end. And the fight that ambushes you is Zombie Borgen.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, Zombie Borgen, not the most... And the funny thing is, Zombie Borgen actually shows up in, like, 4 different chests. So somehow being reanimated turned him into, like, 4 things at once. I don't know. But they're all just as easy as the original Borgen fight as well. Oh, so this is the Dark Knight. And Borgen. The Dark Knight is a mysterious soldier who just shows up and has joined the Empire out of nowhere, and he's a really good fighter, but nobody knows his history, and the Emperor doesn't care because he's just like, whatever, you're good at fighting, you can join us, it doesn't matter. You know, we definitely won't see them a billion times. They definitely aren't relevant to anything. Okay, so I need to go up around... Oh my party's so painfully ill right now, and I just like...
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm not in the back row there? Oh god. Oh, that was spooky.
Yeah, it's not a healthy party at the moment.
It shouldn't. The worst part is it shouldn't be that bad in this game. I just had a really bad couple of dungeons, both in terms of escapes, hello? Oh my god, really? Please? Thank you. Yeah, both in terms of, like, my encounters have been bad, in that they've been difficult to run from, and I've been getting a crazy amount of long-range stuff. Oh, so this town's been attacked, by the way. So we're going to talk to Sid and learn about the airship. We'll ask about the airship, and he'll be like, oh, they're powered by Sunfire. And that's it. And then we're going to buy an airship ride to Salamat, and promptly not take it. We're going to actually just get a boat instead. So we just paid for an airship ride, and we're just going to leave. Yeah, thank you for luck. So yeah, we learned about... Oh, where am I going? Wrong way. We learned about the Sunfire from Sid. God. First step. I need to learn the step count for this game at some point. I'm a while away from that, I think. Anyway, we come back into the castle, or the rebel base, I should say. It's not much of a castle.
Which has also been attacked.
Also, yeah, this town has also been attacked. And we talk to Hilda, and she's like, oh, my father, the king, is dying. And Minwu's a healer, and he's like, I can't do anything to help, but I should... My role is to stay here with the royal family, so I'm going to leave you for a bit. So he goes to take care of the king. And we're going to go talk to the king. We'll ask him about the Sunfire and learn about the Goddess Bell. And the Goddess's Bell is used... So Sunfire is basically what powers all of the airships in this game. The idea is it's basically their fuel, but too much of it will blow up the engine. I need to sell the longsword, the longbow, and I didn't get any mithril items. I need to buy 3 blizzards, and then as many fires as I can afford. I have... Oh my, that's close. Okay, I need 32 gil left over, and I'm at 39. That is...
For the ship, right?
Yeah, to get the boat ride back. So
Yeah.
that actually is perfect. Oh god, I guess I put Guy in the front row. This is so spooky right now. I don't know what I do if Guy dies here.
Yeah, you still don't have any way to revive or cure at the moment, do you?
Right.
Except for potion.
Yeah, nothing. Okay, so I'm down to 7 gil. This is why we buy the airship ride before, by the way, is so that you can't accidentally overspend for that. So you buy the airship ride and it stores it, and I'm just going to walk straight on and go to Salamand.
So now you're off to find Sunfire.
No. Or maybe, but soon. So we asked Joseph about the Goddess's Bell. This is like a big fetch quest, I guess, leading to Sunfire, so that we can try and take down the Dreadnought, which is the Empire airship. So we find out from Sid that the airships run on Sunfire. We find out from the king that Sunfire is in Kashuan, but you need the Goddess's Bell to get in. And then we talk to Joseph about the Goddess's Bell, and he's like, hey, I can help you find that. I'll join your party and show you where to get Snowcraft so that you can go and get the Goddess's Bell.
It's soon time for a minigame.
Yeah, not far from that. So we're back to Summit Falls, where we were earlier. Oh yeah, for anyone who knows the FF1 speedrun, I did that at Remython. There was an ongoing thing with the puzzles in FF1, and I hate them. It's basically a 16-tile slider puzzle, and if you come second in the leaderboard, so it's like between 30 seconds and a minute, you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting an item that saves you about 2 minutes. For reference, the world record run doesn't actually do it. It's just not consistent enough to be worth it most of the time. Especially with the amount of other RNG in the run. In this, puzzles are mandatory. You have to do puzzles in FF2. Thankfully, the puzzles are way less RNG, and not a goddamn sliding puzzle, so there's nothing you have to learn for these ones. Other than... Huh?
Is it actually mandatory?
It is 100% you have to do this as part of the run, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as for speedrun, sure, but...
Oh, no, just for the
yeah.
speedrun, yeah. Just in
right,
terms of
yeah,
speedrunning.
okay.
But yeah, without doing this in the speedrun, there is no way you would ever be able to do anything. So I'm going to walk into the snow and hit some buttons. And we get a puzzle. So what I'm now going to do is make some notes. I have a pen ready, so that's GFJ1 31 GM L3. My notes make sense to me, doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. LM 4F 4J. Cool. Now we'll cancel. I'm gonna have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, so now I'm just going to wait for 15 seconds here. Alex, do you want to explain what's happening here?
Sure. So apparently the game has 32 puzzles, and they all alternate between 1 to 32. So if you go to game or puzzle 33, it will be the same as the first one. So if you remember the first one, where everything goes, you can cheese your way to the 33rd game and get this first one again, and just instantly do everything right and get the first prize on every game. And I suppose you need to do this, what, 3 times, is it?
3 is to be safe, yeah. It's 2 in the world record route, I think, but...
And the point of not going past 15 seconds is because if you do it slower than any of the other games, you will get less rewards.
Cool. And so I got 40,000 gil for each of those. So I'm actually just going to save here as well because puzzles take a long time and it's been a while since I saved. Yeah, you get 40,000 gil for each of those. So where I mentioned earlier, there's a money grind in the run. That was it. It was doing those puzzles, and that's it. From this point on, the rest of the run is 0 grinding and a lot of resetting.
And RNG.
A lot of RNG. Which, you know, for the record, we're like 37 minutes into the run. My PB is 3 hours 16. Oh, I might be able to run away from these, I don't know. Okay, good. Oh yeah, so this is our first dungeon with unrunnable encounters. So... In FF1, there are unrunnables. It's just, you use magic, you beat them, the end. FF2's unrunnables are both a lot less consistent and also just require a lot more luck. So, oh, well, there's a bad one. Okay, so I want to use fire tomes on deadheads and zombies. Wait, anything with a shadow, anything with a shadow I fire tome. Cool.
Yeah, and I suppose as the inconsistency is going, different floors can have different kind of enemies that once were unrunnable is now runnable.
Right, yeah.
And vice versa.
There's one dungeon in particular later on that's really obnoxious for it, because... So outside the dungeon, an enemy is unrunnable. In the dungeon, it's runnable, but only... Hold on, I've just vaguely lost track of where I'm going here.
Only on certain floors, right?
Oh, right, okay. I need to see if I can run from this. It's not guaranteed. Yeah, okay, I have to fire it. Yeah, so outside the dungeon, it's unrunnable completely. In the dungeon, it's, for the first half of the dungeon, it's runnable if it's on its own and unrunnable if it's with something else. And then later in the dungeon, it's completely runnable, like 100%. So, yeah, it's very inconsistent.
I suppose the notes for this game is a bit
God.
more detailed than the notes for FF1.
Yes. Oh god, yeah. There's so much. I'm using up
And
too
it's a
many
longer
fire
game.
toes.
So, this is looking like something I've seen before.
I'm down to 6.
Still better than last time.
I'll see how it goes, but I don't want to go back and buy more, but I keep getting fights where I have to use them, so I guess I'll end up just using them all anyway, no matter what at this rate.
Yeah, the grenades is unrunnable, right?
Yeah, anything with a grenade or a shadow is unrunnable right now, and then deadheads plus zombies, potentially plus ghoul, is maybe oh my god, are you kidding me? I'm tempted to reset. I've had 3 fights since my last save, and all of them have needed fire tomes.
Right, so lore-wise right now you're going to get the goddess spell. That's your quest to enter to get Sunfire eventually.
Right. Yeah, we need the goddess's bell to go to Kashuan. We need to go through Kashuan to get Egil's torch or Eagle's torch. And then we need to use that to hold the Sunfire that's also in Kashuan, but right at the start of Kashuan. Can you stop, game? Oh, I'm down to 3.
This looks like a restock.
It looks like I'm, gonna have to make a stop. So ideally I just travel straight from here to Kashuan, but I might have to stop off back at Altair to buy more. Right, I go down to a door. Okay, by the way, so I'm gonna do something really slow here because it's funny. I'm gonna have a conversation with this beaver. And it says Snook Snook Chip. And it turns out Guy, who can barely speak English in this game, speaks to beavers. And everyone's just like, yeah, that's fine, no worries. I don't actually have to talk to the beaver, all it does is tell me that there's an invisible path over here. But it's
Guy
like...
beaver. But of course.
I have no idea why that's a thing. I love that it is, but I have no idea why. It's actually an ongoing thing in this game as well, that like, half the time Guy talks to anyone, he talks in the third person and he misses out words occasionally, and it's like, almost like Tarzan style speech. But for some reason, yeah, perfectly coherently talks to beavers.
RPG logic.
Alright, so I need to high potion Joseph here. I'm not gonna save, even though I probably should. So we'll have Firion and Maria use Blizzard Tomes to start, and then defend with the other 2.
So this is one of the last few bosses you will do in a, I suppose, normal way, right?
The next one, I think, is the last... Oh no, I guess the one in Kashuan has a unique strategy as well.
Except for Soul, yeah.
So the next 2 bosses have unique strategies, and then it's basically the same boss fight every time, up until near enough the last, like, 2 to 3. 69 damage. Ooh, that's really good. Okay, okay.
Died. Yeah.
I got the drop. So the diamond
thank
shield is better than the mithril shields that I would buy later on. So that's actually... I'm going to keep that equipped for pretty much the entire game.
That's not a guaranteed.
No, no, it's like 1 in 8, 1 in 16, roughly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really good. And that brings us back out at the start. And I get more grenades, because of course I do. I'm down to 2 fire tomes.
This looks like a rehearsal.
With Kashuan to go, I'm 100% stocking up as well, yeah. There's no way I can go through both Kashuan and Dreadnought with 2 fire tomes.
I think this is even worse than last time.
It is. It absolutely is. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god. 1 fire. I wouldn't even get to Kashuan at this rate. Okay, so I'm going to menu and save here, even though it's Borgen and I shouldn't need to save.
You say that, but...
Yeah, yeah. Hasn't gone so well the last few times, so...
last time was fine, wasn't it?
Let me check Joseph's equipment. Yeah, that's all good. I didn't save. Did I save? Whatever, I'll save again. I did save, okay. Last time was fine, yeah. So the idea is you just defend, defend, attack, attack. And Borgen will spend half the turns just healing himself when he's not taking damage, apparently. And you do that for 2 turns. And if he doesn't kill Guy, which did come close there, then he just dies. And yeah, I died to him because the first turn I had, I got ambushed and he crit Guy, and Guy died. And I just couldn't do enough damage to beat him.
Yeah, no way to revive him.
Yeah. But he booby traps the ice cave. So Borgen dies, but we get like our little Indiana Jones cutscene now. Which is a really good opportunity for me to take a drink, so... I say it's Indiana Jones, but like... Yeah, nobody manages to run away. I guess the other 3 do, because Joseph kind of gets in the way. And death number 2. I guess 3 if you count Borgen, but we don't count Borgen.
Yeah, I suppose it's like a running joke, this game, with but most of the 4th party member either disappears or dies.
Right, if you've played FF4, the ongoing thing in FF4 is that characters, like, show up, almost die, and then, like, miraculously make it out alive somehow, and, like, you know, you watch a character literally ride a bomb off an airship, and 5 minutes later find them recovering in a bed perfectly fine. In this, everyone just dies. Like, everyone just actually dies. Like, I've been making comments, I know it was in my submission for this, where I was saying at Remython I did FF1, and at this I've learned FF2. So the next Remython I've got to learn FF3, the next Ziathon I'll learn FF4, we'll just keep going.
FF4 you did once, right?
I did run FF4, I used to run FF4 at one point, no 64-door SNES version, yeah. That was a long time ago though, I barely remember any of it. All I remember is using a tent so that you could skip to buy items right at the start, and that's it.
I remember the skip by Kalkibrina and Golbus.
Oh no, god, I'm so bad at that one. Anyway, so we're in Salamand, we're going to go to the item shop and sell the elixirs and cottages that we got earlier, because if I didn't have enough money before, now I definitely do. We'll buy 11 ethers, 11 of each of these. 11 is just the fastest because it's up once. All of those are necessary for like safety for status. We're going to buy a couple of high potions. No, not a potion. god, I don't know if I'll ever do 9. But then when I looked at doing 8, I did 100%, so I don't know if that's any better. By 11 life, 11 warp, and a couple of teleports.
You always have your FF7 100%, right?
God no. God no.
No.
Okay, I'm actually going to do some of my menuing a little earlier than I meant to. So normally I'm meant to do this once I start the next dungeon, but because of how far away I am from because everyone's really low on health, I want to do this now. And then I want the teleport tomes first, fire second, high potions third, ether fourth, and the pass fifth. And I'll just use the high potions when I'm by here to be safe.
Yeah, minigame manipulation to get money is a thing. Can confirm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the minigame, so every time you do it without making any mistakes and faster than your previous record, you get 40,000 gil and some items. And then one of the items can sell for 25,000. So money stops being an issue entirely. So what... let me think about this quickly. I have to head back now, don't I?
I suppose the minigame is only available after you get the raft.
Yes, it's only available once you've got the snowcraft, only in the snow as well, for some reason. What am I doing? I was meant to talk to a sailor. I want to go back and buy fire. The minigame in FF1 PSP as well, I had no idea about until I looked into speedrunning stuff, and people were like, oh hey, here's this like minigame that you can do to have a 1 in 6 chance of speeding up your run. I'm like, wait, there were minigames? I actually love original FF2, but I love it for the buggy, broken mess that it is. Yeah, it's not a well-made game, it's not a good game by any stretch, except for the characters. I think the character and plot in this game is actually really good, and I really wish they'd make a sequel, but they're never going to make a sequel because nobody cares about FF2.
Should have enough fire tomes now, I think. I
might need to stock up again at some point, maybe, but I
Dreadnought should be fine.
For Dreadnought and Casual, I'm fine.
I hope.
I do need to stock up on teleports again at one point, for sure. But then that's part of the normal run, so...
FF3? Wait, that's FF6, right?
Oh god, don't. I made that comment in one of my streams the other day, and someone was like, I can't wait until FF2 Lightning returns. Alright, so we'll talk to Gordon. So Gordon, we didn't actually talk to him, but he was in Altair with the Rebel Army. He's Scott's brother. He's renowned as a coward. And so he's like, I need to prove that I can do something. He was the Prince of Kashuan, and Kashuan got destroyed, so he fled. And now he's here like, no, this is like my family's heirloom, and I want to prove that I can do something useful, so here I am. Trying to,
He's kind of the most useless character in this game, isn't
yes. Yes, without a doubt.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so... God. Have I gone the wrong way already? I have gone the wrong way already. This area is terrible and I hate it. I'm just going to say that now. This whole dungeon is, for some reason, one of my least favourites, even though it should be one of the easier ones. Left, ignore door, down to stairs. My notes are really vague, and sometimes that leaves me very confused. Oh, this is unrunnable. So now we get to see the joy of teleport zones in action for the first time. So everyone's just
definitely not the last time.
No, God no. Oh.
So apparently teleport tome works on quite a lot of enemies in this game.
Right, so
surprisingly bosses.
The way that teleport works is it's got an element to it, basically. I can't remember what the element is now. It's like a non-elemental status
Like
style thing, yeah.
Ultimate.
And any enemy that is susceptible to that element can be hit with teleport, which is an insta-death. But then they just made a lot of enemies, including bosses, susceptible to that element. See, that's an unrunnable encounter later, so that really confused me.
Oh, the land turtle?
Yeah,
No, ogre mage.
Ogre Mage and Land Turtle both.
Yeah. Yeah.
At some points, yeah. Ah, first teleport miss. We'll get used to those. There are a lot of them in the run. There are a lot of teleport misses. It's not always the most forgiving game. Oh, those I can run from, but getting ambushed kinda sucks. Okay, guy dead. Got away. So now I'm just not going to revive him, I'm going to do formation trick. Follow path to the pillars. So there I got ambushed, but yeah, they didn't get a turn because everyone was in the back row. And there I got ambushed and they didn't get a turn because everyone was in the back row.
Yeah, there's a lot of formation in this game. Was this trick working in the original?
Oh, what, teleport?
Teleport? Yeah.
No, okay, yes, but you had to use the spell because you couldn't use scrolls as an item.
Right, so the, yeah, okay.
Formation. I nearly forgot to do it then. That is going to be one of the biggest things. Chat, occasionally feel free to yell at me about formation, even if there's no reason to yell at me about formation. Left, ignore door. I'm really bad at remembering where I go. Oh god. Oh god. Have I saved here? Oh! Where was my last save? Oh my god, it was on the way out of the fucking snow plains. Well, I have to do half of Kashuan again, enjoy. This is why I overestimate. Are you? God, oh my god. So I'm really bad at saving as well. That did a lot more damage than I was expecting, I've got to be honest. Fuck.
Oops.
Yeah, so, chat, how's your day going? God, we haven't even got to the quote-unquote hard part of the run yet, but,
As in hard part, you mean more saving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, each step taking you save.
I haven't got to the part where I need to save all the time, so I don't think I've been saving enough. Well, let's just stock up on items again. Do this all over again. Well, you first. The hard part is Animorphs. I mean, maybe. Oh, Animorphs is going to be a disaster, and I can't wait. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds really bad to say. I'm looking forward to Animorphs a lot more than I was looking forward to FF2. Because Animorphs is so bad that it's beautiful. It's like the Room of video games in my mind.
You actually had that game when you were younger, right?
Yeah, I had 3 Game Boy Color games of 4 total, and it was Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Pinball, and Animorphs. Those are the Game Boy Color games I owned.
I suppose one of them were played less than the other 3, right?
Yeah, I didn't play Pokemon Pinball half as much.
Yeah.
No, like genuinely, I actually played a lot of Animorphs.
Did you?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, my favourite Pokemon games. Animorphs is a Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's different.
But yeah, so I still have to play safe, right? I still have to go...
Fire tomes, etc., I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, I need to scroll my notes all the way back up now to figure out what I'm doing. It's fine. When I did the run yesterday, I was 10 minutes behind my PB by the end. And still finished in like 3:25-ish. What am I doing? Okay, well, today I discovered, yes, you can in fact get fights on dock tiles.
Good to know.
Like, I died once and now I'm tilted, so, you know, expect more mistakes going through. Sorry in advance. No, it's fine. This isn't a very... As long as I save and remember to change my formation, this isn't a very dangerous game for the most part. The problem is I didn't save, so... I guess the other thing to say here is, so Kashuan has a boss fight that is one of the worst fights in the entire game. And later on it appears as a random enemy. And so for this boss fight we do a lot of setup and like strats to make it manageable, because the enemy is completely immune to magic and all of our damage output right now is magic based. This is also the reason we need Guy to have level 5 fists, is because we need him to be able to punch out the red soul effectively.
And not die, because they use a lot of magical spells themselves.
Right, and it just spams magic, so we just have Gordon healing and Guy attacking, and the others dying.
Poor Marie and Furion.
But yeah, the red soul is... The problem is that, like I say, it appears as a random enemy later on. So when I said that we haven't got to like the high RNG sections of the run, what I mean is there are sections later where I have to save every few fights, and if I get one of those encounters, then it's a reset.
Is starting off with a save now bad idea?
I think I will probably save.
Yeah.
I need to rearrange my menu. Wait, formation. Order needs to be in the back. I need to remember that if I reload the save. You think, having just done this dungeon, I would remember the movement?
I was just going to say, at least now we've done it recently.
I do not remember the movement. Oh, this was the other dungeon where my notes were bad. Thankfully, I did remember that earlier and now.
Which one is the first dungeon?
The what, sorry?
You say this is the other dungeon where your notes were bad.
Oh, we were talking before we went live about the Colosseum. I had the wrong notes in the Colosseum as well. But, yeah, in that one it told me to go right in that path, which was a dead end.
Yeah.
See, normally the undead are unrunnable. So I'm like, oh, I can't run from these. No, I absolutely can. Shadows are
Ogre. Ogre Mage was the one that did you in last time.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is runnable, but it turns out when I fail my first attempt and then everyone except Gordon is dead, yeah, a little easier said than done to run away. Well, I'm glad I stocked up, because I would have run out of fire tomes before Dreadnought.
Yeah, that would be dreadful.
Citizens left, I think. I hope. This looks wrong. I actually find it really difficult to remember where I'm going because my notes are so vague because there's so many notes that I don't want it to be like 18 billion pages. Alright, I wasn't meant to go down here, it's further along. Okay, I can run from those ones, that's good. Right, down, shadow again, so I have to fire it. I'm getting all the slow fights right now, aren't I?
Again.
Yeah, my run the other day definitely got all of the slow encounters up until really late, and even then I got the 1.6%.
A lot.
Reset the entire dungeon fight. That one sucked.
Yeah. In the can't remember the dungeon name, but
it was the castle basement.
Yeah.
Alright. Time to set up. So magic. Guy is alive, don't need to do anything there. We'll make sure he's on full and unequip his shields. Oh, right, yeah, he's not going to die because he's got, I'm just going to save as well, just in case. He's not going to die because he's got, the diamond shield, so he's not going to get hit. Also, I lost about 8 minutes to this in the end. Yeah. So, high potion on Guy. And so the red soul will just use, I think it's 4 very powerful spells. The number kind of depends on which spells, it's usually 4. Gordon now needs to heal himself. So each of Guy and Gordon can take 2 spells. And the red soul should die in like 4 hits. So you heal Guy turn 1, Gordon turn 2, and then Guy every other turn. And that should be enough to basically let you punch out the red soul without ever dying to it. There might be a 5th spell here. These are all fairly low level ones. Or fairly weak ones. I don't know if it'll survive long enough to get a 5th spell though. Alright. Oh no, there we go, it punched.
Yeah.
Alright, so I went from a minute ahead at Borgen to 9 minutes and 40 seconds behind at Red Soul, so yeah.
Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah. Guess moral of the story is save often or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna teleport first because it shreds your HP total. Then I'll do this and heal everyone. And we'll give Guy his shields back. Go back in, and we need to just get in a fight apparently. Go back in, and we need to just use the torch that we just got to pick up Sunfire. This actually really confused me the other day because I tried to use the torch with the fire in the next section, and it turns out the fire becomes a separate item in your menu, so I am both carrying a torch and some fire as 2 separate things here.
Even though it says Sunfire went into Eggman's torch.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So we'll just come into this little hidden forest and... Oh yeah, the Dreadnought's chasing away Sid's airship. It just went back in. Does it stay? Good. So there's a desert here. We're just going to cross the entire goddamn desert. If you don't know about the Chocobo Forest, like, I hate the idea of doing this on foot.
Because there is no encounters.
Yeah. Alrighty. And the pass was moved to the top there earlier, so... Alright, I'm terrified, but whatever.
I love that you just show a pass and it's like, okay, yeah, you can join in your enemy's
Wait, these are runnable.
flagship somehow.
Yeah, you have a pass that says you're important, and they're like, well, definitely
Must
not
be
one of the
important,
rebels we've been fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pass you got from where again?
The
Some
town
random
where we
chest.
saw the Dreadnought earlier. It's
Yeah, okay.
was that Bafsk? I think that was Bafsk.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. So where we saw the airship being chased, it turns out Sid and Hilda have been captured somehow. I'm gonna try and run here. This is risky. Oh, well. Sometimes you can run from ghasts. Most of the time you can't. I probably shouldn't have tried, but...
Speaking of, maybe saving is...
Yeah, I will save very soon. As soon as I pick up the Thieves' Gloves, I'm gonna go to the menu and save there. Because I have to open the menu there anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to come down this way. Okay, that's fine. Run away. Good. So we'll just formation up. No, not you. Alright, Thieves' Gloves. So we'll give those to Firion. So Thieves' Gloves raise your agility. Should probably heal up while I'm at this. Nah, let's not bother. Healing is overrated. So yeah, Thieves' Gloves raise agility. And we put them on Firion. Only Firion's agility matters. The other characters do not at all. Because your escape rate is based on evasion and agility, and only for Firion. Only Firion's agility matters for escaping for some reason. So, yeah, we pick up like 3 different items throughout the run to give to Furion, just to increase his agility enough so that we can escape. Escape more effectively, I should say. So yeah, Sid and Hilda were captured, we just walk in and open the cell for them, that's fine. They take ages running off screen.
And Gordon joins them.
Right, Gordon goes with them. So, oh no, Gordon stays. Shit, I wasn't in back row.
It's later Gordon leaves. Right.
Oh my god.
Mm.
No, stop. Get out. Get out. I'm playing super risky right now, so I should probably... Oh my... This is terrible.
Oh.
Huh? This is terrible, they say, and then one-shot the entire fight. Alright, I'm gonna revive Gordon at least, just so that I've got... In fact, I'll revive everyone, why not? But I'll keep Guy on, like, no health. I'm so glad I stocked up on fire tomes. I've used 10. I was down to 2.
I was just going to say.
Now 11. But, oh my god.
Otherwise, this will have been the same disaster as it was last time.
Oh my... Yeah, so my run 2 days ago, I think I probably had to reset Dreadnought about 15 times, 10, 15 times.
Yeah.
I lost about 8 or 9 minutes to Dreadnought alone, just by the sheer amount I had to reset through it.
Reset saves every battle.
Yeah, just save every, like, fight or 2.
Which is going to be common later, but probably not for Dreadnought. I mean, on base case.
We'll deal with that when we have to deal with that, yeah, like... Yeah. I don't want to reset now, I already have to do it enough later on. What am I doing? Just thought the door was in a different place. Did I formation? I didn't formation. No. Oh my god. Oh, there's like a billion guards in this room for some reason, but doesn't matter as long as I don't talk to them and they don't get in my way.
If you talk to them though, they will be a Dark Knight battle.
Yes, yeah. It's a really scary fight. Fire! Might save after this fight. Okay, good. Also, weirdly, to be efficient, I actually want to use all 20 save slots throughout the run, because if you go to save over a file, it asks you if you want to replace it, and if you just press down and save, it doesn't. So ideally I want to actually go through all 20 save slots in this run, because I will save a lot more than 20 times. And yeah, it's faster to just not have that text box.
So cool.
I'm glad I just saved.
Yeah, that can happen.
I'm suddenly realizing as well I might have autopiloted a bit there. That might have been unrunnable. I didn't see if there was a sergeant in the fight. That's the important one. Magicians and Werepanthers generally are runnable, but and soldiers, but sergeants are not. So I still love this map. It's just like a whole bunch of corridors, but there are conveniently placed guards blocking all of your paths to the doorway. So you have to go this ridiculously long, stupid way round to get to the door.
Or you could just fight them, right?
No, they stay in place.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Okay. Would you be able to beat them if you tried?
Probably not. I don't know. Maybe they can be hit with
Teleport,
but
yeah.
Please, Gordon, come on. No. Oh my god, I didn't save on that floor again, did I?
No.
Alright, well, I'll... It's probably saved near the end of this floor this time then, because this is being stupid. I've never had trouble with this dungeon, other than running out of fire tomes. So, I don't know how this has happened, but whatever, we'll deal with it. My estimate was, thankfully, fairly high, because it's a high RNG game. So it doesn't matter if, like, it's a little bad, because I accounted for it being a little bad. I also didn't save, but it didn't matter, I got good fights that time. That's more what I expect to see from this place.
Here you use Sunfire instead of Eagle's Torch. Some... being a separate item.
Oh, also, the Dark Knight shows up and is like, wait, the engine, no! And Maria's like, I know that voice! And then you just cut it short and it's forgotten about for the next, like, hour? So, yeah. I'm gonna make a mad dash out while the Dreadnought explodes. And Sid's airship now takes us to Altair again, so we can go back to the Rebel base. Oh, this is where Gordon lived.
Oh yeah.
This is where we get our boat.
A new fourth party member.
So yeah, we drift off to the right here where we met the king earlier. And it turns out the king is like about to die. Basically, he's been ill. That's why Minwu stayed with him to try and take care of him. And the king asks Gordon to lead the rebel army alongside Hilda, so Gordon stays here to help with that. And the king dies. That's the third death this run? Third allied death.
Yeah.
I'm still not counting Borgen.
I mean, Borgen comes back as zombie Borgen, didn't you say?
Right, he's not...
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he is dead. He's just, later on, he's undead, but...
Yeah.
Alrighty, more learning words.
Yeah, that's the thing they didn't pass on to later games.
I wonder why,
Thankfully.
So we learn about Dragoons and Wyverns. Dragoons are all ancient dragon knights, Wyverns are their mounts.
And the Emperor feared them.
About it. Wrong shopkeeper, you. We want to buy 11 mithril shields, and... Right, this would be where I stock up on fire tomes. I'm actually going to do it just in case here, just so that I know for sure I've got enough. Alrighty. I'm also probably going to heal, because everyone is very nearly dead. And the upcoming fights aren't especially scary, but they're good enough to potentially kill. So we're going to talk to Layla, and she's like, hey, we've got a pirate ship that you can come and ride on. And your party's just like, yeah, that sounds good. I don't see any problem with this plan.
Obviously no trap.
Yeah, like, pirates are the most trustworthy, innocent people ever. So they just, like, slowly sail you out into the middle of the ocean, and then they're like, hey, you can't run away now. You're trapped, and we'll let you live, but we're gonna take everything you have. And everything we have is mostly just a lot of fire, so we're gonna use it.
No clothes, no weapons.
Right, yeah. We don't have clothes. They have a lot of shields.
Yep.
And a lot of fire. So we're gonna give them the fire first.
Actually, books, actually.
I guess, yeah. Books that just, like, spontaneously ignite when you throw them. My next split is Big Horn. I need more stupid names for my splits in this game. Like, FF1 doesn't have interesting split names. FF2 is such a, like, mockable game. There's so much ridiculous stuff in this game that it's so easy to do stupid things with it. Big Horn is not one of those things. Big Horn is actually just the enemy name.
Lamia Queen, on the other hand.
Mood. I need to line up... Oh, so I learned this, like, 2 days ago. I've never actually done it. But I line up with that, then come down here. And there's, like, an island in the middle of nowhere that I should, quote-unquote, run directly into. I haven't equipped. So I want to do Guy's equip, Layla's equip next. Because then I can do the gold hairpin on Firion and give him the mithril shields. And then shields there. Perfect.
And this increases Firion's agility.
That's actually fine. Yeah, gold hairpin is more agility boosting. Hey, there's the tropical island. Perfect. So tropical island, everything is runnable, at least, which is a good start. Better than the last few dungeons have been. Holy! That was a lot of damage to Guy. I might just put
Dual
Layla
heads and dual deads.
back. Yeah, dual head, dual dead is my favourite enemy name.
Red moose.
Yeah, red moose, yellow jelly. I want to say it's like green flan at some point, but I don't know for sure. You don't tend to see them, so they don't come up.
So why are we in this dungeon?
We pick up a mask. That's pretty much it, weirdly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this dungeon is kind of a weird one because in terms of the game's context, we have zero reason to be here. But later on, the game would say to us, you know, oh no, I get back row. Okay, it's fine. So later on, like way later, the game would just be like, hey, you need to go and do this dungeon to find this item. And doing it now is the most convenient time to kind of stop off and actually do it. But I'm so confused about where I'm going right now. Not there. I think it's left to the stairs at the top of this. Is my formation good? Yeah. What isn't good is Firion's goddamn health.
1 HP, more than enough.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. First ambush, he was gonna fall. Oh no. Oh no. I've not saved. Layla, please get out. Please get out. Oh my god. So Layla's gonna learn life. Sure, why not? I shouldn't do that. It is slow, but whatever. I'm too spooked now. Like I've had too many deaths.
Save maybe, I guess.
Oh yeah, I should have done that. Huh. I'll do that now. I have to change formation anyway. The guy's dead.
Because the guy died. Yeah. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, no, it's...
Then, I mean, guy's been facing his face downwards, or actually upwards, I guess, for most of this game. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Speaking the beavers and staying dead, that's what he's doing. And punching stuff.
See, Layla feels like the most like actual FF character. Firstly, her name is Layla. Secondly, she's a goddamn pirate. Thirdly, she's like the only character who actually like knows what the fuck she's doing. Like, she's just by far the best character in this game.
I wonder where Faris get her character.
Yeah, you know, it's not like they ever draw inspiration from older FFs for their characters.
Yeah.
So this is Big Horn. We got 4 of them. Of course we did.
Again.
It's
Same as
a random number between 1 and 4. Same for the Chimera later on. I get 4 pretty much every time.
What you actually mean is you get 4 or you get 4.
Oh my god, like... But it's fine, because Big Horn... Love that it's called Big Horn.
Black Mask.
Right, yeah, so we need that in like about an hour. I was gonna do something, probably just save, why not? Okay, so now we go into one of the worst dungeons in the game. This is the start of the FF2 experience in my mind. So I'm sorry in advance. Why is my thing very quickly becoming playing really bad old RPGs? So this place has a lot of unrunnables. That, thankfully, is not one of them.
So, story-wise now, you obtain the Black Mask, which you probably should have gotten an hour later, I suppose, story-wise.
Right, in terms of... Oh my god, this is awful. Okay. Sorry, this is both a fight that can really just murder me, and is now unrunnable.
Because it's not inside the dungeon.
Yeah. Suddenly Ogre Mages are unrunnable. But in the next dungeon they're also unrunnable. But they only appear on certain floors. Formation 1, no, I've done it, cool. Yeah, so story-wise we find out about the Dragoons and the Wyverns and we have to come here in order to... Oh my god. This is bad. I nearly saved. I considered it and then I just didn't. Now I'm spooked. Next dungeon I'm saving every 2-3 fights. Like, so... Looks like I only get 1 fight in the first visit, hopefully. Maybe 2. But, it's a scary dungeon.
Right, because now you're off to get the egg.
Yeah. But yeah, story-wise, we found out about the Dragoons and the Wyverns. We detoured off to get a Black Mask that we'll need ages later. Now we're off to talk to the last Wyvern. So we want the Dragoons and the Wyverns to help us against the Empire. We're gonna go and talk to a Wyvern. In order to do that, we need a pendant to show that we're on its side. I didn't save. I did save. Okay. That is unrunnable, but fine. Yeah, we have to get a pendant that belonged to one of the Dragoons in this cave. We have to take that pendant to the Wyvern to prove that we're, you know, that we mean well. So we do this, get a pendant. That's the first run I've done where I've actually remembered to split there. And then we just teleport out. That's it for the first visit. Nice long trip.
That cave can have souls, right?
Yes. There's a reason I saved just before going in.
Yeah.
This is the first dungeon with souls, and they're quite common, just to make it even worse.
Yellow soul?
Yeah. So for everyone who's joined in the last 30 to 40 minutes, or doesn't remember the last 30 to 40 minutes, the red soul was the boss in Kashuan, and it took a lot of work to make it. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, never mind. I did mean to do that. We're good. But I had to show it the pendant, and I just accidentally mashed, and it was the right thing, so good.
Egg.
Egg.
Yoshi egg.
It does look like a Yoshi egg, right? Also, we come up this way to go into a treasure room. We're going to open that and that. Those don't do a whole lot until a bit later. And then we'll just teleport out again. I'm gonna heal, I think. Like, properly heal. I'll save inside the cave, but yeah, this whole area is scary.
A nightmare.
Yeah, a lot can go wrong here. I'm going to be saving every 2 to 3 fights, except the first and the last floors are fine. Just the first and the last floors, because they cannot have the enemy that's a problem. So I guess we should explain why the souls are an issue. So it was vaguely mentioned earlier, but they're completely immune to magic. And as you're probably going to realise very quickly at this point, every fight from this point on, we just use fire or teleport on, except for like 2 right near the end. Which means if something is immune to both fire and teleport, we just can't beat it. Like, it just doesn't go through at all. We just reset out. Talking of which, I thought they couldn't appear on the first floor. My notes are wrong. I was given the wrong information. The worst part is that if you reset as well, it's really easy to get the same fights multiple times in a row. Oh right. Ogre mages now are unrunnable unless they appear with an ogre chief. And if they appear with an ogre chief, I can run away.
For some reason.
Thanks, FF2. Yeah. FF2's unrunnables are so much more chaotic to remember than FF1's. God, I can't wait to learn FF3 and find out that has, like, unrunnables that are even more chaotic than this. Oh, free blink tone. That's actually quite good. That's a safety strap for the final boss.
The Blink Dome?
Yeah.
Oh, Blink Dome, of course, yeah. If you... Yeah, you use haste and blink, is it? Or is that the same?
Yeah, you use haste and blink, so haste increases your damage output, because it increases the number of hits you do with a weapon. Blink makes you immune to physical attacks for a couple of turns, so you just use it as a... Basically the same way we used Protect earlier to keep Guy alive in Senate Cave.
Yep.
We use Blink in the same sort of way. Perfect timing on that save. Oh my god, what a game, what a game.
If you were to try to kill them...
It would take forever.
Yeah.
So there's a dungeon where green souls are a 1.6% encounter. And it's actually possible there that you don't save. And if it's been too long since you saved, you can try to just punch them out with Guy. But it's very inconsistent.
It will take ages.
I'm struggling with movement right now. Up this way. Okay. These no souls. Okay. And yeah, it would take several turns. The run that I did a couple of days ago, I did in fact get green souls on the final floor of that dungeon, but I also got 7 of them. So like if I got 1 or 2, maybe I try to punch them out, but 7? No, I'll just redo the whole damn dungeon. That will be faster.
I'm closing in halfway through the game at this point. Approximately.
Yeah, about that.
Approximately. Except, I mean, the rest of this game, half of this game is a lot of saving and resetting. Speaking of.
Yeah, good timing on that one.
Yeah.
I think that's the floor where I should be saving pretty much constantly, so I might save next time I get to that floor, just like a little bit into it. Welcome to FF2. The hill gangers is fine. Like, I don't mind getting unrunnables because there's so many of them, but it's like, of course I'm gonna get unrunnables. Like, half the fights in this dungeon are unrunnable. I just want ones where I don't have to reset.
Is it like 20% or something encounter rate for the souls?
I don't actually know. I want to guess it's around that. Yeah, probably like a bit below that.
Yeah, 10 maybe, 10 to 20.
I guess like 15-16% roughly, if I had to guess. But then it's probably different between every floor. It's just, I'd say it's around that on this floor in particular. Well, I hadn't saved after that last fight. Every 2 to 3 fights, that's what I said, right? Those I can run. Oh, it came up in chat the other day for one of the runs yesterday, but I did realise I don't think FF2 has any dogs, but Animorphs definitely does. The dog is a big deal in Animorphs, so this is my dogless run for the weekend. Yeah, we'll get Animorphs will have all of the dogs for the weekend. It will more than make up for this.
the whole zoo actually.
Does have a whole zoo, but the dog is the MVP.
Dog just scratching at the elephant and everything. Somehow working.
I don't think there are dogs in this. I'm worried that there's like a dog enemy now that I think about it, but I don't think we even kill any dogs.
How many chimeras? 4?
3.
Always?
Okay, not as
Okay.
bad, but close.
This is almost a dog, right? Lion?
Partially dog, maybe.
Yeah.
So by the way, I always forget to split for the pendant, but even with this RNG, I actually got a 0-second gold split on that with
Yeah.
everything. So I just tried to ask the river about wyverns.
Mhm.
So we'll
Question
drop,
mark?
we'll drop the Yoshi egg in the spring. And teleport
And it's
out.
gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Okay, I should probably save soon, but that's fine. Beavers are basically dogs. We'll just have Guy go talk to dogs now. That would be amazing. Okay, so now after all of that, I need to go on this ridiculously long boat ride all the way back to Altair. We just kind of go up and left a lot. More up than left. My movement for this is not optimized, and I do need to figure something out for it, but that can wait until some other time. Oh, the next split is lewd.
So yeah, about that save by the way.
Who needs to save?
Okay.
I'll save in Altair. Sea enemies are actually not particularly threatening, so we should be fine. Famous last words right there. Like asking for something to go wrong. Now we're good. Oh, perfect. So I walk into this room and Hilda's just stood in front of me. I'm going to take the opportunity to heal and save. And we'll talk to Hilda and she's like, hey Firion, there's something I want to talk to you about in private. So Firion like says to the others, yeah, sure, this is fine. You know, you'll come wait outside or something. And then Hilda just walks into bed. And Firion's like, yeah, this seems fine. Hey, Iggy and Raiders. You joined for the best part of the run. So we're about to climb into bed with the princess. Oh. Ah, my teleport tomes, I was at 69 at the start of this fight. Perfect. The perfect moment to be at 69 was this fight. Oh, wow. First hit.
This is high miss chance as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like a probably 10 to 20% hit rate. Oh, and then Firion in that conversation, by the way, is like, how much of that did you see and hear? And Layla's in like, enough to know that I shouldn't trust you around anyone.
Alone with any girl.
Yeah. And Gordon rejoins us.
Yay. Rejoice.
And Layla's like, I'll help out here or something. Because you find out that Hilda instead has actually just been kidnapped, and she's now being offered up as a prize at a Colosseum. So you're like, well, I'll go fight at the Colosseum and win Hilda. That seems fine. Nothing wrong with that plan.
From the Emperor himself.
Yeah.
That seems like a plan that can't go wrong.
So we'll just return to this little waterway between the two areas here, and dock here. And I should probably start saving fairly often at this stage, because the Chimera that we just fought as a boss, we now can just get as a random enemy. And if it ambushes us, we might die.
Yeah, they have some nasty elemental spells, right?
Lots of damage, both physically
Thunder.
and magically. Also, there's only one unrunnable in this area, which is a Gigantode. Gigantode? I don't know how people pronounce that name in every FF. Gigantode, Gigantode, Gigantode.
Giant toad.
Giant toad. So we run up and the Emperor shuts a gate on us and is like, the winner of this next fight wins the princess. Right, so the victor, the Princess of Finn. And so you walk out and who are they offering the princess to?
A behemoth.
Is a behemoth a dog? Preemptive? Nice.
It's technically a dog, isn't it?
It's just a very big purple dog
Big
with
dog.
horns. It
Pointy tail.
can still just get teleported out of the way. That's fine. I somehow saved a minute there. I don't know how.
Why? Oh, the Lamia, maybe?
Just,
No.
No, since the Lamia, I just guess fewer fights on the way here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So anyway, the Emperor's an illusion, and the Dark Knight shows up and is like, "You're all idiots, and now you're imprisoned." So we go to the gate, and suddenly Paul shows up, who we've not seen in like an hour and a half of this hour and 50-minute run. But he shows up, knocks out the guard. I actually love Paul's like face model in this game, by the way. He looks so cocky all the time, but also looks like no other FF character ever. And so we're just going to run up this way. This floor is safe. This one is not. Parasites are fine. Oh, there was an invisible wall in that cell, and there as well. Oh no, not magicians. Not again. Away.
When did you last save, by the way?
Just now, when I entered this
Okay.
floor.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna have Gordon use life on everyone, because he's about to leave the party. So we'll have him revive people and sit in the front row for a bit. So we come in here and Hilda's in the prison cell. Gordon goes to talk to her and is like, "I'm so glad you're okay. I've come to save you." Gordon's like, "I'll get Hilda out of here. You escape the enemies. Oh, you distract the enemies for us." So Gordon just runs off on his own first. Somehow we're the ones drawing any enemies. Also, there's another invisible wall that gets us through there faster. Chimera! Shit, these are unrunnable. I'm done. I might die.
Uh-oh.
It's not
you
been
tried
long
to run?
since I said yeah.
Yeah.
I do in fact die. Okay, let's just reset there then, because that's faster. I just saved on that floor, so it's not the worst. Means I have to go through that text box again, and that's about it. Also, I should have Gordon do this again now. Why am I healing Gordon? funny because my notes are like, hey, this floor is really scary and you should save regularly. And
now we know why.
I never do because I've never had problems with it. Yeah. Yeah, now it makes sense. Not that I'm going to save regularly, but... Spectres! I have to fight these. Teleport fire. So enemies, by the way, at this point will start getting a lot stronger. I'll now have to use 2 fire spells instead of 1 for most of the fire weak enemies that I'll fight. By the final dungeon it'll become 3. Still not the worst. Cool, that's it for the Colosseum. Shortest dungeon in the game. Except for, I guess, the first visit to Deist Cave where we get the pendant. Which is literally like
counts.
1 fight. Yeah. The dungeon itself is long. The first visit
And that
is not.
one fight could be souls.
Okay, I can run from chimeras on the world map, and I'm glad I can because that was scary. Oh, I've had that one fight be souls before and cried a little bit.
In the escape.
Yeah. The one fight on the way in was souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to just reset that away. Was back at the start of the island, not too far, but far enough. Oh, die down.
Recurring theme this game.
Yeah, you see that a lot. So back towards Altair, but not into Altair this time.
So now you save Hilda.
Right.
I suppose it's time for counterattack. Is that now?
Yeah. So at this point, normally you go into the Finn, and they're all like, "Hey, everyone's gone up to the rebel camp. We're gonna try and take back Gatria, I think it's called." So there's a rebel tent. Are you kidding me? I get an encounter on the bridge tile. And so we just walk in and we go straight up into... Oh, this is Finn, sorry. You go to Altair and they're like... in fact, I should save.
The first town you visited when you started the game?
If you go into Altair... Oh yeah, this is where... Finn is where you met Scott earlier. It's like where the rebel army mostly come from.
And there we have a pub. You have a pub, right, in this town?
Yeah, this is where I now own a pub, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the guy was just like, I don't want to have a pub. Bye. I have to fight these. So suddenly, dual heads and dual deads are unrunnable. Even though they've been runnable for the entire game to this point, and are runnable everywhere after this. In this one dungeon, they're unrunnable.
Oh, the inconsistency.
Come up this way, we see Gotos, so I'm gonna revive Guy, heal everyone, and save, as always. And Gotos, it turns out, is teleportable. On that split. There we go. Saved a minute and a half there. Like, good fight. You defeated the enemy commander. It was such a challenging, difficult fight.
Which will be a recurring encounter later.
Yeah, it's just random enemy
for
later
some
on.
reason.
So now we get a stupid conversation. We have to learn Mysidia and ask about Mysidia, which she tells us about masks, and we ask about the masks. And then she tells us there's a password, and we learn that. And then we take that password and we say it to a fucking wall.
Here comes the annoying dungeon.
Oh yeah, this dungeon is really easy, but also really obnoxious at the same time. I'm gonna just save to be safe here, but... because I did get screwed over in the run the other day. So first...
because this has souls.
Right, there are 1.6% chance here, but yeah, it can happen.
In fact, twice.
I did get it twice. Otherwise, the floors are very consistent. You burn everything on the first floor, you run from the second, third, and fourth floors, and then you teleport the fifth floor. And if you get souls, you reset and carry.
And hope you saved.
Yeah. That thing is not gonna die, is it? Okay.
This thunder.
Yeah, it's just not weak to fire like the rest. Oh. Nope. I was going the right way, and now I'm going the wrong way. Don't do that. Need to go up and left, and then as far up and right as possible. Which I assume is this path. Right now I can still just run from everything. These are fine. These aren't a problem. The next floor is also hopefully not a problem. The floor after that definitely is. Also, ogre mages. I still hate
now
them.
they're unrunnable, right?
No, they're runnable here.
Oh yeah.
My god. Oh my god. Please run away. Okay, good. Might just formation and save rather than reviving Guy at this point. Because I want a save just in case I get a soul fight anyway. All the way to the right. Oh, bugger, I'm not meant to run from these. I'm just gonna reset at this point. I'm dead, so... This floor is teleport everything. I need to remember that. It's really easy to forget when you've had a couple of floors of run from every fight, that all of a sudden you have to actually do something. So, I'm probably losing a little bit of time here, but not much. I'm losing a lot of time if this thing won't teleport away. Hello? Took out 6 of them with no issue, but there we go.
Persistent one.
Oh, that's the path I want. Don't do that. I didn't back row. Well, let's hope this one teleport tome is really, really effective. Oh, that was not. Oh.
Is it reset time?
Yeah, I just let myself die that time. I think it was faster to just die there. I'm gonna save a little more often because I'm being dumb right now. Well, now I'm definitely losing time. It's fine, this whole run was a disaster from the point where I died. God, where did I even die? Kashuan? Early in Kashuan,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. To Ogre Mage. You tried to run, I think? And then... No. Yeah, you tried to run and then died from that.
Oh, I thought I just got
Right.
ambushed. I just
maybe it
remember
was
lots of
ambush.
spells.
Maybe it was just ambush, yeah.
Every time I have to change formation, I'll save. That'll be my rule from now on. So we picked up the black mask from Tropical Island earlier by fighting the big horn. This leads us to the white mask, and then we take both of those to Mysidia, which is a, you know, recurring FF name at this. I have the formation. No. Yeah, like a recurring FF thing at this point. Oh my. I hate these things. I hate them.
Stalagmite.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that type again? Is the one that hanging from this ceiling? Or like, you know,
No, I don't.
caves?
I think
Is it the other one?
Stalactites are the ceiling one, right?
Ceiling one.
Someone in chat.
Stalagmite
Someone in
is the
Twan
one.
will. Twan should 100% know this, right?
Oh?
I need the second door from the right, and I get a black mask. White mask, that one. Oh my god, that dungeon is done and I hate it and we're out.
No 1.6% encounter.
Right? No souls, just a lot of deaths to stalagmites. I'm not gonna lie, half the reason I think stalagmite is the one on the ground is because of Genus in Tales of Symphonia using stalagmite all the time. And all I can think of is Genus shouting stalagmite and then like a little rock appearing from the ground and bursting out, so that was half of my logic behind saying that stalagmites are the ones on the ground and stalactites are the ceiling.
Yeah, probably right.
Apparently, yeah. So we just bring our boat down this way. Oh, those are unrunnables. So there are a lot of unrunnables in this area, by the way. A lot of them. The fights here are actually really bad, like really obnoxious in quite a few ways. Like almost all unrunnable, some of them are really scary fights to get into.
And Bighorn is back.
Yeah, Bighorn. I at least went the right way for Mysidia this time. We're on an improvement from our last run. It's fine, I'll save 10 minutes in Pandemonium by having good RNG and just like PB there.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, so we need to go into Mysidia, do a little bit of shopping, because we're low on spells at this point. You're optional. You're one that we want. Stock up on those, and
Place one mask, I suppose.
that's it. And then we come down this way to put the white mask on a statue. It's like a statue of a goddess, and we're like, do not ask it any questions. We're gonna give it a white mask. And leave. Oh yeah, if I get a PB here, it's not gonna happen at this rate when I'm like 12 minutes behind after dying in Kashuan. But I do want to get a PB where I talk to beavers.
Guy talk beavers. Guy speak beaver.
This is why I describe FF2 as the room of like so I talk about bad movies a lot. My favorite movie ever is the live action Street Fighter. And like the big thing with every bad film is that it has to have those like glimmers of hope that make you think it's going to be good and then it isn't. So like in Street Fighter, that's Raul Julia playing M. Bison. He's like the one good actor in this absolute disaster of a game. FF2 has that. FF2 has these really interesting characters in some parts, and like this really cool like rebel army plot that's very simple because it, you know, had to be for its time, I guess. But it's effective at what it does. It's a great game for that. And then all of a sudden you've just got a guy talking to beavers, and like it was a train wreck of a game, like poorly programmed, poorly balanced in every way. I love it and I hate it, and that is my favorite type of thing ever. Like if it's so bad that it's good, I'm gonna love it. So we use the black mask there on the doppelganger. We also want to save like almost every fight in this dungeon. Oh, good. I'm actually just gonna leave him petrified for a bit.
That works the same as dead, right?
Yes. Okay, now here's where I save though. So at this point I want to save after literally every fight. So we go right. You are fire tones. I actually weirdly mapped out the movement for this dungeon super precisely. So where you come up the stairs there, and I went off to the top right corner and around, you can go left and go around the same way, and I actually counted out the number of tiles. It is one tile faster to go to the right than it is to go to the left. Don't know why I counted that dungeon in particular, but I did. Also, save after every fight. 3 fights without saving. Yeah.
And brain.
Also brain. Brain is my favourite enemy. Is it this staircase? Yes. Follow right wall to stairs. Go up. Go left. Oh, I have to fight these. This is bad. Reset optimal. My last save was a little bit back, so I'm gonna do...
Oh, is the Rios the problem?
Right, so Rios can only be teleported and ghosts take multiple fire tomes. So I want to basically throw teleports at them first to get rid of the Rios, and then fire afterwards to get rid of the ghosts. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, this is bad. Fire, fire, teleport, and hope that's enough. This has to kill the ghost, please. Oh. Alright, fine, fine.
Reset time.
What a game, what a game. Is it standard for FF2? That's the worst part. Like, I started, by the time I got the white mask, I was already behind my split for the end of this dungeon. I have 1 floor left after this one, for this dungeon, and I've still got 4 more minutes before I lose time. Like, you're expected to lose so much time to every dungeon just on RNG resets. I'm still meant to be saving after pretty much every fight here. Don't do that. Oh my god. Help. Help. I guess what I'll do now then is actually heal Guy. Because these fights are scarier than I realised. Oh, it's probably worth pointing out at this stage, by the way, there's like maybe 5 dungeons left in this game, and that's an hour of the run.
That says the most, I guess.
I've gone through maybe, what, 13, 14 dungeons in the first 2 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't save and didn't get punished. Alrighty, now I'll save again. This floor is actually one of the worst ones as well, so I'm having surprising luck right now, I think. I need to remember where I'm going. Left. Okay, that's fine. These are unrunnable if they're on their own, but if there's another enemy with them, you can run away.
Makes sense.
Thanks, FF2. Also, I accidentally attacked with Layla, so hopefully the 3 teleports are enough here. Ooh. I always mash to cancel out of the save menu, by the way. You can actually mash... Oh, there we go. That's why we save. Yeah, you can actually mash too quickly and cancel out the menu before the save begins. And yeah, you can do that in both FF1 and 2, and I have done that in 1 quite a lot of times, to the point that it cost me a lot of runs. So now I'm super cautious about it in FF2, and I notice most of the time, but there's always that kind of fear that it's going to happen again. I'm being greedy and just rushing the door. We're good. Okay.
Wait, is that a dog? Flying Ray? Okay.
Flying Ray?
Yeah.
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 Sure?
Yeah.
T-dog.
Okay. Yeah.
3-second gold. Yay! We'll ignore that I'm already...
So Crystal Rod is your key to my city tower, right?
Yes. Oh, you
Forget
don't have
Ultima.
teleport. Shit. You do. Alright. Yeah, so now we have to go get the... We got the Crystal Rod, which lets us into Mysidia Tower, which has the ultimate magic spell.
Which lets you defeat the Emperor lore-wise.
Yeah.
Or at least try to.
The idea is that that breaks a seal on the castle so that you can get in. Or something. And you get the orbs, which are the crystals, but it's FF1 and 2 logic, so it's... Warriors, release the power of the orbs, or whatever they say in FF1. I don't play the NES version enough to know that line.
And it's soon time for a new 4th party member.
Oh yeah, Layla leaves us again for a bit. You know what? Actually, okay, hold up. So I'm just gonna say what's about to happen because I just want to point out something here. We're gonna go up towards the Mysidian Tower and Leviathan attacks us. And so everyone gets thrown overboard and your 3 party members get eaten by Leviathan and you end up inside Leviathan. Layla just gets thrown overboard and makes her own way to safety. She is currently turned to stone. She would sink. There is no way she gets out of this alive, and I have no idea how she shows up later. Guy just shouts, "Layla missing!" and everyone just nods and moves on. Alrighty, I can run from everything here. Also, oh, my movement's bad. Anyone who knows FF1 again, there are lava tiles in FF1 or spikes. Same thing applies to damage tiles in this game. If it deals damage to you when you step on it, you cannot get fights there, and it doesn't increase your threat level for fights elsewhere. So we actually want to walk in the acid here as much as possible, except on this floor because... Oh, whoops. What are we meant to be doing? Showing you a crystal rod. Where is my crystal rod? And so Ricard joins, otherwise known as Gareth in different translations. For some reason. I don't know, yeah, like, Yosef and Joseph are like, it's like Joseph or Joseph with an F, and is interchangeable. That makes sense.
Guy also has a different name, right?
Guy can become Gus in one of the translations.
Yeah.
Where am I going? This way.
And Minwu also has
Minwu
some
is
other name.
Mindu.
Yeah.
Or Mingwu as well. But yeah, for some reason Ricard is Richard or Gareth, and I don't know why. Gareth. So yeah, Roundworm we probably unsurprisingly throw a lot of teleport at, and
Let's go.
I lost 8 seconds on that fight because the fucking first teleport missed. Immediate ambush, of course.
What's your time looking like now, by the way? Too bad, right?
Oh, you know what? My equipment is terrible. My time is pretty bad right now. Not great. I did this all completely wrong. You're meant to have mithril shields and nothing else. And Guy is meant to be in the front of the party. So we come up to the tower, hold up a staff, it opens the end. I'm gonna save after like every 2 fights here. More once I get further into the tower. But to start with, save. First floor has an invisible wall. Here. So there are 2 fights in here that are resettable. One of them is a hard reset, and one of them is if your save was recent, you should reset.
That's practically a dog.
Oh, that was a dog. That does count as a dog. Yeah, okay, we'll take it. I hope I'm going the right way here.
More dogs.
Don't want dogs. Not right now. Actually, I do want dogs because they're runnable. We go through this door. That's fine. I guess I save now. But... There's a boss fight coming up. You can probably guess what's about to happen with this.
Spoilers, it's teleport.
It's a fire Gigas, so it's probably not fire. Like, literally every boss fight is susceptible to teleport. between Kashuan and the final boss of the game. The exception being that one of the fights has random enemies with them, and the enemies can't be teleported, but the boss can. Oh my god, please no. Okay, that's fine. So we'll save again. There. Fake wall. And then more damage tiles. Into another fake wall. I'll save again.
Another Gigas.
Yeah, I got really good encounter luck on this one, so I'm actually saving a bit of time on this fight, unless something terrible goes wrong here. Right down, right down, left. Oh, I remember. Sorry, I have to. All my notes are written up as just like a sequence of arrows and nothing else. I forgot to split. Oh well. So right, down, right, right. Down, left. This is a teleport one, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay, I remembered that.
Yeah, it's the Hill Gigas, right?
Mm-hmm. And bombs and mines. Bombs and mines are always teleport one. I'll save. I'm already at 15 save files, and I've saved over quite a lot, and the rest of these will absolutely get used in Pandemonium, if not sooner.
Jade Passage, maybe?
Yeah. Some in the castle as well, Palamisha Castle.
Palamisha, yeah.
And the Cyclone. Cyclone is my favourite dungeon.
Technically a castle, I guess,
yeah,
or something.
The castle in the Cyclone. I don't know. This game doesn't make much sense.
Last of the Gigas.
So by the way, I was 12 minutes behind my PB at Fire Gigas because of that terrible Kashuan earlier. I just got ambushed. That's not good. So I've actually saved like 3 minutes over the last 2 Gigas fights, roughly.
Good
Unless I
encounter luck.
died to this one. Yeah, really good encounter luck, basically. Got to split it somehow. We'll save here again. No, formation first. I'm saving very aggressively right now because I've been burned too much at this stage. Okay. Okay, fine, fine. I literally took one step and saved again because I got a fight on it. I had to heal. 1, 2, third right. That's fine, I can run from these here, but not later. FF2 is a lot of saves with a game kind of attached to them. Like, that is absolutely how this game feels most of the time. I have to burn these. Is this where I do the GDQ thing? And mention the fact that my next split is just called Orb, all in capitals? Did I just go the wrong way? I just went the wrong way. Oh my god.
Is it the second one?
Second door, yeah.
From-
I read third from the end, which was the doors at the paths earlier. It's the third path up to the doorway. And so I read that as the third door in my notes. And right underneath it is, yeah, second door. Oh, so we talked to Minwoo here, who's just learned Ultima, and he's gonna break the seal on the orbs. And so he has the ultimate magic spell, and we can learn it from the orbs when we go into the next room.
That's not going to happen though, is it?
No, we're not gonna. We go in, we have the ability to learn it, we don't, we leave. You can actually talk to the orbs to get bonus stats. I might do that today just because safety strats, but oh, also yeah. So Minwoo dies casting Ultima because he uses all of his strength to do it. FFs never reuse their plot points from earlier games, as we mentioned with Faris earlier. I'm just going to run up and talk to the orb. Hey, I'm less than 10 minutes behind.
Yay!
Alrighty. Out of Crescent Lake, and I should formation. We want to go back up to Finn. Finn has become the center of operations now, which is annoying because it's way... Oh my god, I didn't mean to walk on land there. Because it's way harder to reach, so we have to go through this stupid river path every time to get there. So we go up to the throne room and talk to Gordon. The cyclone was just outside Finn there. I don't know if people caught it, but there was a cyclone, and Gordon's like, there's a cyclone, and we learn about it and leave. And then from this hall, we want to come down here. And I don't know why this is the case, but in Finn, there is a mirror that shows us, item pendant. If we use the Dragoon's pendant on the mirror, it takes in the light from the pendant and hatches the wyvern egg?
For some reason.
Sure. The wyvern is a dragonite in my mind. I am never going to not see it as a dragonite. I have to skip the cutscene, but when it lands, in particular, when it flies in here, I always think of it as a dragonite there. Don't know why. Like the wrong colours and everything, but oh well.
And suddenly you have a way to get to the cyclone. Because that's a good idea, right?
Right, now we
Flying
can
into
go
cyclone.
flying into a tornado, which is exactly what you want to do. Alright, so we leave again. That's it. Can't teleport out the castle, so I've got to walk out. What we are going to do, though, is Paul. Paul, our favourite thief friend, lives in Finn. I'm going to go talk to him and tell him that we're planning to raid a cyclone. If I don't do this, I can't beat the game, because of the speedrun route. There's literally no way to beat this run without doing this. So he's like, hey, feel around near my bed. And so we're going to do that. We'll pick up black garb, a gold hairpin, and a blood sword. Without that blood sword, we would not be able to beat the final boss. So I'm going to leave, equip. Ricard is going to get the twist headband, the black garb, and the giant's glove. And then we actually just warp out because that's faster than leaving the town. I promise that was faster than leaving the town even with my slow menuing. And we walk into a cyclone. There's a cutscene here that I have to skip. That's it. Hey, guess what? It's time to start saving again. So this dungeon is the worst. The absolute worst. Once I get to the 4th floor onwards, keep in mind this is like a 9-floor dungeon. I will save after every single fight. I'm in the front row. What am I doing? Reviving everyone, healing everyone is probably what I'm doing. Oh, actually, I'm not that high on high potions, so let's just keep Guy dead. Okay. Second staircase, so let's save here because it's been a few steps. That's fine. I had to think about that one because that's not fine in pretty much any other dungeon.
I guess if you have a Lamia Queen, is it together?
Yeah, queens are awful. So the idea here is that the Emperor has taken control of a cyclone because he's a powerful mage or something. So he's summoned a cyclone to carry his fortress to attack all the towns. So all the towns have been devastated by this cyclone running through them that he's, like, driving. And so we just fly into the cyclone to fight the Emperor. Can you please?
That's one resistant captain.
Captains
Rip
aren't
guy.
normally that bad. Okay, well, it wasn't. So we'll formation again. For anyone who missed it earlier when I explained, oh, I should save. For anyone who wasn't around earlier when I explained it, we keep a dead character in the front because physical attacks will not hit someone in the back row, and that's why we save. Physical attacks won't hit someone in the back row, but they can't use physical attacks, so we keep a dead character in the front so that if we get ambushed, we can't get hit by physical attacks. Oh my...
Another wooden golem.
Wood golems are the worst. 2 wood golems this time. Oh wow, perfect.
I guess 2 wood golems are the worst.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. They can also appear with royal guards.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. That's a good fight. Amoeba. Yeah. Weird name. That's fine. This floor is like my least favourite one. It's just a massive circle around that room in the centre. The problem being, it's a massive circle around that room in the centre. I'm literally going to save here because I've taken this many steps and I'm going to have to do this like 3 times, knowing my luck. Royal Guards, I can actually teleport. That's not the worst. Yeah, so... it's worth noting with this dungeon, by the way, Royal Guards and Wood Golems, those enemies are important. Let's just keep those in mind for a little bit. Don't you dare. Oh my god. I'm dumb. I should have saved.
Oh,
It was only like, it was like 10 steps. I thought I would make it. Okay, that's fine. No, that's not fine. Oh, teleport is inconsistent as well? I'm out. I've just saved. It's like 5 steps. No point. That was 2 Gotos. He was a fucking Empire commander earlier, but apparently now he's...
cloned and back.
Oh my god. For what it's worth, by the way, you know how I said I was like 9.5 minutes behind or something?
Yeah.
I've only just started losing time on the next boss fight. That's how this dungeon normally goes. Like, I am 25 seconds behind right now. And the next floor is the final one for this dungeon. So we go up that staircase and we don't go up the next one. First things first, I need to revive Guy, heal everyone. Put Card on his own in the front, and save. Okay, so... remember all of the enemies that we were talking about earlier. So firstly we get a fight. Oh, I got ambushed. I've had some issues with this fight in the past because I got ambushed by 2 of the 3 fights you get here. And that meant I nearly died. If I get good RNG here, I could save a lot of time, though. Alright,
So this fight consists of 3 fights, right? First,
yeah, it's 3 fights
guards.
in a row. Royal Guards, and then the second one, more Royal Guards. 3 and 4 as well, of course. These are also between 1 and 4, these fights. So it's not a consistent, you will always get this number. I got 7 out of a maximum of 8 and a minimum of 2. Good fights though. 3 teleports between the 2 fights is amazing. And then the actual Emperor fight, who shows up with some Royal Guards and an ambush! No! Go away! Oh my god, this is bad. Yeah, Ricard's dead. Okay, this is terrible. Okay, I'm gonna start with teleport tomes and just hope I can deal with the difficult part of the fight first. Or the annoying part of the fight first, I guess. Oh, 1 guard. That won't be enough. I'm probably gonna reset here. That's the other Royal Guard.
As for Emperor...
Come on, Maria. Come on, Maria. No. Guy's dead. I have to reset. I can't get out of that. Damn it. This is such a big time loss as well, because this is like 2-3 minutes on just these fights.
So yeah, the big thing there is Golem is not able to be removed by teleport.
Right. The Emperor can actually be teleported. He wasn't that time, but yeah. Literally every boss in the game, except for from Red Soul up to the final boss, everyone in between those 2 can be teleported away, including the Emperor. But the wood golem that he comes with cannot. And so you have to set up a bit of a strat to beat that. Also, I got ambushed by 4. Come on, just give me a bit of luck on this. I just need Ricard to survive the first turn in the next fight. I need Ricard to get a turn, and we're good. Smooth sailing from there.
And no ambushes.
Right, if I get ambushed then he probably doesn't get a turn. Yeah. Come on, get rid of them, please. Yes, perfect. Okay, 1 more. No ambush, no ambush, no ambush, no ambush. So much of this game is just praying that the RNG goes in your favour. Ah! Are you kidding me?
4 ambushes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh, god damn. Okay, I'll go for the teleport tomes.
I love
again.
how the Emperor starts with using an elixir.
Yeah, decided to heal himself to take care of...
0.
Oh, wow! Well,
Go free.
that was a teleport. Yeah, that was,
Go guy.
Okay. So from now there is a chance that I can get out of this fight alive. All it depends on is... Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So I need... Wait, I can revive both. You... use this on yourself, I think, because... Oh, I need Guy to not die here as well. That's potentially really bad. I want Firion to get attacked. Firion or Maria. Shit.
Does Sage's wisdom stay when you're dead?
I don't know. It doesn't matter too much because Ricard is the important character in this. Oh, I didn't equip. I'm dumb. Okay, that was on me. That one was my mistake. Oh, Maria down. Okay. Well, let's find out about that Sage's Wisdom, I guess. I was meant to
Equip the blood sword.
equip the blood sword. Yeah. I don't remember how much damage Maria did, but that was actually a decent chunk on Guy's side there. I'm just going to defend and attack with Ricard at this point, though. And it's gone. Okay. I still saved 3 minutes. My PB also died there, so...
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah.
your PB, you died.
So the 3 minutes was probably the encounter luck throughout the dungeon, basically. Alright.
Character death.
Not yet. Oh, everyone's like, the Emperor's died. Let's dance to celebrate. And so there's a weird little dance sequence. I don't know.
And Layla's like, nope, not joining that.
Yeah, Layla just like wants to stay out the way. She just doesn't want to get involved at all. I don't know where Ricard has gone through all of this. Like, Layla's just stood off near the thrones. And Ricard is just like nowhere to be seen as well. Neither is Guy, for that matter. New headcanon that Guy and Ricard are just dancing off screen somewhere. Or yeah, maybe Guy is dancing with a beaver and Ricard can be dancing with a wyvern. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Guy speak beaver. My favourite thing in this game. Oh right, so the soldier that just showed up tells us that the Dark Knight has taken over and is actually Leon, and has been Leon this entire time, and nobody would have ever seen that one coming.
And then it dies.
Oh, and then then the messenger dies. So we come into Paul's house and we talk to Sid, and Sid is like, "Oh, I'm really weakened from the last attack. The cyclone hit me really hard." And he's like, "I've got to rest. I've got to get into bed. You can borrow my airship." Guy asks, "Sid okay?" And he's like, "Borrow my airship. It's not permanent, okay? You're not keeping it." And then he dies, and I don't know why he dies. Was it not enough to just have him resting in the fucking bed? I don't know. I don't get it. Why does everyone die? But anyway. So we'll put those 3 there. We'll equip Ricard with a couple of shields and we remove everything else. But that's a really important part of the process here. If I don't remove everything else, the run is dead. Just very dead. So Sid, by the way, somehow made it to Finn, but left his airship over in Poft. So we now have to go travelling all the way over that way so that we can pick up his airship so that we can then fly it to Palamisha Castle. Oh, I'm going too far to the left. There we go. So we have Sid's airship. Oh, where am I going? Right, and then...
2 boats.
This side of the left? No? I don't know where I've gone. Oh no. I am lost. Oh, there we go. Desert. Found the desert. So, I always do that. Land like 1 tile too far south. Okay, Palamisha Castle. We start on the 7th floor. Hooray, we're so close to where we need to be. Gotos? I can run from Gotos, that's fine. Doesn't matter that he was a boss. And so we just walk into this room and that's fine, I can run from those. And trapdoor down. And that's the only way out, for some reason.
Down to the first floor.
Those I can run from, okay. Devil's Blooms now I can run from, but Death Flowers I can't, and the last dungeon was the other way round. Thanks, FF2.
There are souls in this castle, right?
Not souls, but there are enemies I have to reset on. Also, I can now run from wood golems.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's a 1.6% chance of a fight with an Imperial Shadow, and I have to just run away from those. Oh, didn't like that save. Oh, by the way, skulls, if they appear with Death Flowers, I have to just run. But if they appear on their own, then I can't run away from them. I have to teleport instead. For some reason. I don't know. I don't understand this game. I don't pretend to understand this game. This is
I like how Gotos is just showing up in multiple.
Yeah, there's like a billion of them now, even though he was apparently a commander or something.
Yeah.
It's like, you killed the Empire's general. But like they're just like mass produced in Castle Palamisi, yeah. Just genome soldiers going around in the Empire. I'm getting confused by directions. Is my formation right now?
I didn't see.
Stone golem, that's fine. I don't hurt the rocks. Rocks are fine. It's only wood that's a problem.
Have you tried battling the stone golem?
No.
No.
You just run away. It's so much easier. I don't even know if you can teleport them. You never have to fight them. Also, the formation is far more important now than it has been for the rest of the run, and it was already really important for the rest of the run. So I'm going to be double checking my formation like every single time I go to the menu to save, which is going to be every 1 to 2 fights.
This is also the last, second to last dungeon.
If
you're not counting,
arguably,
yeah.
I count Jade Passage and Pandemonium as 2.
Is separate ones, yeah.
Yeah. They're your like endgame rush dungeons. It's one into the other, but I still count it as 2 separate ones. General, I just saved, so I'm going to reset because you can teleport them, but it's like roughly a 10% chance that it'll work. So it's faster for me to just reset and hope for something different like these, which I can teleport. I'm down to 49 teleport, 48 teleport turns there, depending on how many I use here.
Should be fine.
Well, I've stock up on more in Jade Passage. So I'll be fine to get
there.
Waterfall.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, no. Is that only haste?
That's haste.
Yeah. Maybe I should be fine anyway. Not items, no. Oh my god, formation. There we go. I'll get there eventually. This final pathway is so long as well. It's like, for all the notes, I'm just like, oh, that's it. I just follow the path from here and we're fine. But then the path is like 20 minutes long. Not actually. If it was 20 minutes long, it would be the end of the run. But
It would be a very long pathway.
Jade Passage. It's basically
True.
one really long path, right?
Yeah. With a lot of souls.
Okay, we're gonna have to ramble about plot here. I want to hear you describe the plot in this next area. Oh no. Yeah, I wanna hear you try and describe the plot going into Jade Passage and Pandemonium. Oh wait a little bit. Wait a little bit until we get to Leon here.
Okay.
But
yeah.
after that scene, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to explain the plot of FF2 because oh my god.
I'll try.
You'll thought Kingdom Hearts was bad.
Yeah.
FF2.
Well,
okay,
basically,
actually,
FF1 has a lot of bullshit as well, right? In terms of plot.
FF1's has bullshit, but it kind of skims over it and just pretends it doesn't happen. Which is better than FF2's. I have to teleport skulls on their own. Earlier we had Brain as an enemy, and now we have Skull as an enemy. I just want Face to be the next one. We're just like working our way out bit by bit. So we come up and talk to Leon, and Maria's
Which
like,
is the new ruler.
yeah, he's taken over, and Maria's like, why are you doing this? He's like, we need power. We got chased out of our town by the evil empire. I want us to be able to defend ourselves. So I'm going to do that by being the person in charge.
Speaking of the empire.
Then the emperor shows up and summons some fire. And tries to kill everyone. And Ricard is like, here, I'll call the wyvern and all of you can get out. And he doesn't die on screen, but he does die. And so yeah, the castle explodes a little bit. The wyvern ferries everyone else out, and we all get back to Finn. And suddenly it's Pandemonium Castle. Okay, Alex.
Alright, so when we killed the Emperor first time, he was sent to hell, somehow got King of Hell, came back to the real world, and is wreaking havoc, so we need to go through Jade Passage, which is the entrance to hell, somehow, and defeat the Emperor in hell, something like that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think you got it.
Yeah. And to add on, the what's it called? The additional one where you play as all the defeated.
GBA and PSP thing has a bonus. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like a bonus mode. Dawn of Souls. No, that was the GBA remake. I can't remember what the bonus mode is called, but you play as all of the dead characters in heaven, basically, or like an equivalent of the afterlife.
So Minwu, Ricardo,
Scott, and
Joseph.
Yes.
And somehow, well, when the Emperor died, his soul or whatever was split into his evil side sent to hell and good side sent to heaven.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Except they're both bad and evil, so yeah.
Yeah, well, it's really funny because, like, your party in that kind of... The Emperor's like, I brought you here to test you because you did such noble things on Earth, quote-unquote, like, on the surface, that, you know, I wanted to give you all of... I had to make sure, you know, you were honourable, so I had you fight all these enemies on the way through here and all of this stuff. And they're like, but you're the Emperor. and you're in charge, which means you're not good at all. You just want to take over everything. And he's like, oh no, you foiled my plan. It genuinely makes about as much sense as I just explained. Like, it is... Oh my god.
Yeah.
That side story is something. It's... Literally most of it is just a boss rush. It's just there's a ton of side bosses, and then all of a sudden that happens, and you're just like, what? What? Hold on.
So now it's traveling to Jade
God.
Passage to get to Hell.
And getting ambushed by dragons. There are 2 unrunnables in this dungeon, and both of them are dragons. White dragon and green dragon. Oh my god, this might just kill me.
When was your last save?
When I entered.
Okay.
Maybe more recent? I don't remember now.
Close.
Leon, help!
That's your split, isn't it?
Yeah, for the last one, for talking to Leon in the castle. Oh no, okay, well, there I go. Oh yeah, I did just save. Cool. Literally before that fight.
Traveling to Jade Passage, going to Hell to kill off the Emperor, because apparently he's able to get back from Hell.
Yeah, the Emperor basically, in the time between you killing him and him showing up when you talk to Leon, has gone to Hell, taken over as the King of Hell, and managed to find his way back to the surface to take over or destroy Earth again, because all he cares about is people dying, and he doesn't want Leon trying to be in control where he tried to, because, I don't know, he's spiteful. Not the best of people. Oh, that's an ambush. I have a way to heal. Oh, you're dead anyway, doesn't matter. I should say...
Small guy.
Yeah. Oh, also there's a shop here that we need to go to.
Well, quote-unquote shop.
There's a shop.
Inside the waterfall. I mean, how would you know there's a shop there in the first place?
No idea.
It's not like it's standing out or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if you see that waterfall and you can already see the path behind it, maybe you go to the back to try and, like, explore if there's a door or something, and then if you press A, or X, you'll,
yeah. Something like that.
Talk to the shopkeeper by accident, yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good.
Uh-oh.
Also, the rest of this run has been a billion saves all the time. So the rest of the run so far has been like a billion saves, you know, save every 2 to 3 fights, constant back and forth saving. The next dungeon probably has about as many safety saves as the last like 3 or 4 combined. I'm being really greedy with my saves right now.
I can see that.
It worked. I saved about a minute.
And we're in Hell.
Yeah, Pandemonium, which is really pretty and pink.
Bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't look like Hell at all.
Save after every encounter is my note to this.
And I seem to remember you didn't do that last time.
I didn't do it in my PB either. so I have some time to save here. That's a reset.
That's what I'm saying.
One of many reasons, yeah.
Is it the Death Rider?
The combination. Mithril Golems on their own, you try to run away from, and if you fail, reset. Because you can get... So you can get Mithril Golems on their own, which are runnable, and you can get Mithril Golem with Death Rider, which isn't. But you can have 0 Death Riders in the fight. So, if it's a Mithril Golem plus 0 Death Riders, it's the unrunnable encounter, but you won't know that until you try to run. Yep, there we go. Also, ambushes can be really, really scary. Devil Wolf in particular. If I get ambushed by those, it's probably better for me to just reset. Because A, they might just kill me like these are doing now. But also in the same way, they use lots of spells and they will just not...
Take forever.
Yeah, it's just the slowest fight. What am I doing? Heal, beautiful, and I guess you too.
Have you equipped Broadsword yet, by the way?
No, I don't want to yet because Leon wants higher evasion for now, so he has 2 shields.
Oh yeah.
Death Rider, I can run from on their own. Yeah, that's it. Mithril Golem on their own I can run from. Death Rider on their own I can run from, but the 2 together I can't. Right. FF1 has equally bad unrunnables. I shouldn't complain about 2s. No. In FF1, my favourite one is Ogre Mages and Hellhounds, where if you fight them on the world map, you can find them separately or together. And if you fight them on the world map, can I get away? Good. Okay, that's an inconsistent one. That's the same thing. If I find them on their own, I might be able to run. Who knows? And if I can't, then I should probably just reset. That is basically just a reset. Still basically just a reset. Yeah, in FF1 it's Ogre Mages and Hellhounds, where if you fight them on the world map, and it's Hellhounds on their own, they're unrunnable. I think it's that way around. No, it's Ogre Mages on the world map, and in Mount Galug, if you find Hellhounds on their own, they're unrunnable. And if you find the other one in either of those locations, they're runnable. It's old school FFs, and I guess especially the PSP versions, have some really weird tendencies for whether you can run away or not.
Notice the time there. Your actual play time is 2 hours and 32 minutes. No, that says a lot.
There might have been a bit of resetting, a little bit.
Well, yeah, and also I suppose cash round was a thing.
Now that is a reset, yeah. Every Lamia Queen is a reset, basically. I'm just going to save after doing this teleport so that I don't have to do it every time. The funny thing is, there's still a chance I PB this. It's a low chance, but there is a chance.
Yeah. I think you might be able to beat your previous run at least.
Yeah, should hopefully be able to. My last run was what, a 324?
326. Yeah, something like that.
And my PB is a 316.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you had some quite good encounters and luck in Mysidia Tower, at least. I also suppose Palamecia wasn't too
Palamecia
bad.
Castle was really good for me. That one I was pleasantly surprised by.
I mean, the Emperor wasn't so good, but neither was your PB, right?
Right, both of my previous runs have also had kind of bad luck there. Oh god, this is a confusing area. Okay, so I want to go through 2 doorways. Don't do that. Okay, that's fine. Paralyzed everyone, did nothing else. Oh, I was just about to menu to save. That's an ambush. No, stop it. This is bad. Okay, we're good. Okay. And there's the 20th save slot.
Dogs.
There were dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs are normally not too bad. If they ambush, they might be. Alright, there's that one. Lots of hidden walls and stupidity there, but we're out. Follow path. Just a really... Oh no, this is the short path. I always get this mixed up. Fine. Again, I'll take the portal, then save, so that I don't have to keep doing that. This floor I hate. I know this floor is terrible. There's so many fights in this floor, and they are just always resets, or... wait, I can run from these. Okay, so all of the Gigas enemies from earlier appear in this dungeon with bombs, but only one of them is unrunnable for some reason. So I can run away from the fire and ice Gigas, but not the thunder Gigas. And I have no idea why. Beast Demon Devil's Bloom? Nope. Oh, bugger, I thought I'd saved sooner than that.
By the teleport, isn't it?
I thought I'd saved up the staircase and I
Oh,
didn't. I
right,
saved
yeah,
at the bottom.
okay.
Save here now.
Queen is a no.
Yeah, Lamia Queens are the worst ones here for sure. Okay, that's fine. I always have to think about it when I see them. That's not good. Game. Okay, a little spooky, but...
Some of these magic spells are a bit, I don't know, inconsistently in terms of how much damage they do. That was a Blizzard 16, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
And
they retarget, so if it's one character alive, they'll do a lot more damage than if it's 4 alive. That's probably the biggest thing for it. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. It depends on more on the enemy's stats than it does the actual spell.
This rank on the spell, yeah.
No. This is a fight I can run from, so I don't want to reset, but... Cursed and confused.
Those are some bad dogs. And listen, something.
This isn't going well.
No.
Leon! No!
Help.
Oh, down. Alright.
Help.
Well, it's not too bad. It's fine. Leon, help! Yeah, I'm changing my name to Ashley. Am I gonna start shouting? I'll just start shouting that all the time. That'd be great.
Is this Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, I spell it differently. It's fine. Oh my god! Come on. Game.
Again? Help. Help.
Leon. Okay, made it out this time. I have to teach him life so that I can revive everyone, but that's fine. Worth.
Which floor is this? 7? Or 8?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's in the menu.
Now it's 4-8.
2 to go then.
Left, up, down. Oh. How many? These aren't unrunnables, they're just bad fights. Oh, I have a minute to beat the game and it's not gonna happen.
Well, for PB, yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually, the worst part is I'm actually super close, but... Yeah, no, the Emperor fight alone might take that long, so...
Yeah.
Like, both of the floors I'm on are really short, so I'm actually really close to it, but... not close enough. You know, I'm gonna be really... No, I'm not gonna be really greedy, that's just... Alright, the PB's gone, I'm sorry. I wanted it, but... I can't be that greedy. Oh, that's a fight I have to fight. You're gonna see my timer change colour when my PB goes past.
Rip.
To be fair, considering I was like 12 minutes behind at one point in this run.
After cash run, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually pleasantly surprised it came that close to a PB.
Cash run and some dreadnoughts, maybe?
Yeah.
Guess the dreadnought wasn't too good either, but better than last time, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, last time's was a disaster though. That doesn't count. I'm trying to forget about that one. Oh, no. Yeah, that's fine. I said I needed really good luck to get the PB anyway, and yeah, Lamia Queens is not really good luck.
Yeah. I suppose, like, you had a good Palamisia castle. The minigame also went quite fast.
Yeah, the puzzles went well, Palamisia went well. Most of the last couple of dungeons, actually, I went really quickly through. This one was about average, I want to say. Yeah. Alright, so first things first, we'll heal everyone. I need to equip Leon's left hand, because Leon is left-handed in this game, with the blood sword. And put everyone in the front row, and of course, save. Yeah, Leon is actually left-handed, and there's like almost no way to know that other than by going into the status screen and looking around, and only in this version. But it means that he actually does more damage if you hold his weapon in the left hand, which he's like the only character in the game who is like that. Where are my alt haste tomes? I had a gap in my inventory and I don't know why. They're still at the bottom. Okay, so we do that, you defend, and you attack. So we use 2 haste tomes here, that just increases everyone's attack speed. So all that means is that they'll do more hits. It can miss, which is why we use 2. Everyone else is in the front row so that they can get hit by the Emperor instead of Leon. And he's just going to do a lot of damage because it's percentage based. I'm also going to play this really safe now because... Oh no, don't do that. Oh well, I guess I'm not blinking.
Rip.
That's fine,
Yeah.
Don't you dare. Oh my god, Emperor, don't you dare.
It's 3 hits, isn't it?
3 hits.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Yay! It's a good time.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So yeah, the blood sword does percentage-based... Oh, it has a percentage-based multiplier to it. So it ends up doing an absolute ton of damage compared to anything else. and it drains. So if you don't talk to Paul and go and raid his house when the cyclone exists, you just do not win. Because the Emperor has like 16,000 HP and you just can't get through it in any way, shape or form.
And teleport does not.
And yeah, teleport and fire don't actually do that much to the Emperor. Yeah. IFF2 is, for a lot of... there's a lot of RPGs that are going to be high RNG, and that's kind of my go-to thing. I feel like FF2 is the most RNG of all of them. That was a pretty typical FF2 run, I think, in terms of not doing the step count. There is a step count route that I plan to learn at some point. By the way, this is the surviving cast right here, which is about the same number of characters as died.
Pretty much. Let's see. Scott, Joseph, the King, Minwu,
Sid,
somehow, why?
Ricard.
And then Ricard.
So that's 6. Yep.
Yeah.
And not including the main 3 characters, we had Hilda, Gordon, Nelly, Paul, Leon.
Layla, yeah.
And Layla. So it's 6 each way. The Nezar is... yeah, not as good. I still like it, but definitely not as good. The characters are a little more generic. The PSP sprites I love. I think they're actually really good. They have like so much character to them.
Here are dead people. Except Scott.
Yeah, Scott doesn't show up there for some reason. And there we go. Cheers for watching, everyone. Stick around for the next, 3 hours or so? 3.5 hours today. And I hope everyone enjoyed this reset fest surrounded by the occasional battle.